Hey everybody, Scott from RPGFan.com here, and today we got a very special video that we're going to share with everybody. This is a Persona 3 Reload and Persona 5 Tactica hands-on impressions video, and thanks to the people over at Sega, I got a chance to play both these games along with Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name, and a few other games from Sega, which I can't go over, and also we don't cover, so I don't have to worry about that too much. But today we're going to focus on Persona 3 Reload and Persona 5 Tactica. We'll save Like the Dragon Gaiden for another video or something else along the way. But I would like to focus on these two games, mostly because I'm more excited about these two games than I am Like a Dragon. But Like a Dragon was really great. Curious. You can read the whole write-up on that too. And you can read the write-up on this game and Persona 5 Tactica as well. So if you're curious why there is no video in the background and we just have screenshots, it's because, well, we were not provided B-roll for Persona 3 Reload and Persona 5 Tactica, unfortunately. So we're going to have to make do with screenshots. These are all brand new screenshots, and you can check all these screenshots over at RPGFan.com. So go check them out, analyze them, pick them clean, do your thing, and I hope you enjoy. And yeah, so we'll get right into it. We'll start with Persona 5 Reload. Persona 3 Reload, I'm sorry. And we'll go into Persona 5 Tactica. And I'm going to do this video a little off the cuff because I'm going on vacation in about 9 hours. It's really late at night when I'm recording this because it was sent really late. So I want to get this done before the embargo goes up. So bear with me. We're not going to do any kind of editing here. We're going to just do this pretty much as best I can off the top of my head. I got a little script here, but that's all I got. And we'll make the best video we can with what we have, honestly. So, starting with Persona 3 Reload, I was super looking forward to this, and I can tell you right now, I was not disappointed. I was very, very impressed with what was shown off. Persona 3 is a game I really do love. I critique it a lot because it is a game that has not aged well, especially Tartarus. Tartarus may be the worst part of the game by a long shot. And I can tell you right now, though, I was very impressed with what I played today. Well, not today, but I played last week at the event. And it was enjoyable. And I'm definitely more hyped for this than I was before. And so let's just get into it. There were two parts of the demo, the new moon and the full moon. The new moon was the part where the main character, who's Yuki, obviously, in this, and Junpei and Yukari, the first day they get to explore Tartarus together, the first block, Thebel, and the full moon part was actually the first full moon operation, which is the monorail operation against the Priestess Arcana. And you get to play both parts. They're both 15 minutes long each. I got to complete both parts, so I can tell you everything I can, the best I can. But we'll start with the new moon because that's what I played first. And that kind of more of an introduction to everything. And we'll move from there to the full moon part. Because there's a lot of changes, but a lot of it, honestly, is a pretty much one-to-one recreation of Persona 3. There's not much different here. I'm just going to let you know off the bat. It's Persona 3 and Unreal, and it looks fantastic. The Unreal Engine is, perfect for this. The effects are amazing. Plays smooth. There was no slowdown, nothing like that. So, honestly, I was very impressed with everything I played. So, the first thing you start off with the new moon demo is you start in the lobby of Tartarus. You can add Junpei and Yukari to the team if you want. Obviously, take them. But there only is one little difference in the lobby than compared to Fies or Portable. Number one, obviously, there's no more fatigue system. So the fatigue system is gone, 100% completely gone. And the clock is there from Persona 3 Portable. And if you've only played Portable, the clock is not in the Fies version. When you go back to the lobby, it heals you automatically. But you do have to worry about the fatigue system, so it's a little different. The clock doesn't actually take yen in this version. It takes things called Twilight Fragments. It does heal you to full. There were 20 Twilight Fragments we had automatically. I don't know how you get any more. That was not explained yet. But it doesn't take yen, so I think you get them as you explore. But Twilight Fragments are also used to open lock chests in Tartarus. So you kind of need to maybe balance it. There also might be a cap on how many you can hold. But I can't really go into more detail about that. But that is there. It's a little different. That's like the only difference. The teleporter's still there. It looks big, inviting, and honestly, it's going to probably play a big role in the second full moon fight in the game because that's where it takes place. So I'm looking forward to that a lot. Uh, but moving on, you go up the stairs, you go in, and you start Tartarus. Tartarus is basically the same Tartarus as Persona 3, except the fact there's some really nice differences. Number one, you can go around destroy objects in Tartarus and get sellable items from them. I believe you get a little more healing items too sometimes. I really wasn't paying too much attention to it as you were going through because the demo was timed to 15 minutes. So you kind of had to do the best you could in the 15 minutes and get as high as you can. I played the demo twice. First time I made it past the boss and the tutorial for Shift, and I'll explain Shift in a second, which is new to the game. And the second time I got to floor 7, so I think it's pretty much hard-coded to end at floor 7, because I don't think I was at 15 minutes when I got the second time, but who knows? I could have been, but I digress. Going back to the start, basically, you walk around, destroy things. Shadows are still there, obviously. They're much easier to get around if you're walking and not sprinting with the sprint button. You can easily sneak up on the shadows and get a CS advantage. And yes, if you're curious, Mass Destruction is back. It has 2 different versions in this game. It's fantastic. You get a remix version if you jump the enemy and you get a CS advantage. And the remix is so good. It is so good. It might actually be better than the original Mass Destruction. I know a lot of people are like, whoa, Mass Destruction. I personally love Mass Destruction. It's kind of hype when you really think about it. And you get both versions. If you get attacked or you just run into the enemy naturally, the original Mass Destruction plays. And if you're curious about any of the music, the Thebble music is the same Thebble music as the original. And obviously portable. It hasn't changed there. Maybe a little more added beat to it. I'm expecting, honestly, more music from Tartarus because you could not change the BGM when you contact Mitsuru, nor can you split up the party anymore. Just a heads up. And I'm expecting maybe after the Thebble block, it changes. Because that was one of the sore spots about Tartarus in the original is the music is just so great. And you have 4 tracks you can basically cycle through, and that's about it. And none of them really are all that amazing. So hopefully every block has its own unique music. I kind of expect that. Also probably its own unique mechanics. The Thebble block looked a little different. There were some animations going on. You had to get past some gates, obviously. But it was really cool. You could see the influence from the original game. They even had those little staircases that go up to like the corners and then back down the corners. For some reason, you can get around the shadows very quickly like that. Faithful, but also promising that it might actually be better than the original Tartarus. And I'm hoping as we get to play more of it, that it will. And as battles go, it is the same battle system as Persona 3, but it has a Persona 5 coat of paint to it. You don't have to do the ring selection anymore. You have the face buttons that choose, persona, attack, block, etc. It's pretty intuitive. There's also a new ability, Shift, which is Baton Pass. It's just Baton Pass from Persona 5, which is so thankful for this in Persona 3, because if you never actually played the original face version where you don't have control of your characters, the turn order in that game can screw you over real fast. If someone dies and the turn order gets messed up, or you just get, or the turn order just might get messed up in general, it can become a real slog to beat any of the enemies because, if your character goes first and then the enemy goes first and then you're dead, it's over. You don't get a chance to heal. But in this version, you can shift. After you knock something down, hitting their weakness, you can shift to the other 2 party members. Obviously, we only had Yukari and Junpei during both demo parts. And they could do whatever they want. And yes, Yukari and Junpei are fully controllable. That should come as no surprise to anybody. You do not have to worry about AI controllable party members and having Yukari not heal you when you desperately need heals, or Mitsuru casting Marin Karen. Those days are gone. We actually have maybe the best version of the Persona 3 battle system that you could possibly have. But outside of that, it's pretty much the same. I will note a few differences, though. I noticed that some of the enemies were casting actual light attack magic. Not Hama. They were casting actual light attack magic. So they had, I think it was Kohai from Persona 5. I could be wrong. Trying to think off the top of my head what the name of the spell was, but it actually did damage. It didn't do actually instant death. Hamamudo are probably still in the game, but that also kind of a big change because I didn't check two things. If you're curious, one, I didn't check if main character dies, you die. I did not check that. I didn't have time to check that. And I also didn't have time to check, see if the Reaper is around, just chilling and seeing if the Reaper shows up, because I only had 15 minutes. I don't think he would have shown up anyway in the demo, but he could have. So, yeah, those are probably the only changes I've seen to the battle system. But you still have slash, blunt, pierce, because there's obviously no gun in this version. There was no gun in the original, obviously, and there's no gun now, so you really can't take that from Persona 5. But you still have slash, blunt, pierce, in case you're curious about physical attacks. But everything else is exactly the same. So a little different. I'm actually kind of excited that there's actually, light and dark attack magic now, because there wasn't originally, which could change up a lot of things. And I will say this also, it's going to be a little bit different in terms of fighting the bosses too. So if you're a master of Persona 3, know all the bosses like the back of your hand, be prepared to do something totally different, because the Venus Eagle is the same boss that's on floor 5, but this time obviously it's not weak to Yukari's bow attack. It's in Face and the original and portable. There's 3 versions. There were 3 versions of the game. Don't forget that. Face was the second version of the game. It's weak to the pierce attack. In this version, it's weak to Agi, so that changes everything up. And also, I can tell you that much from fighting the Priestess Arcana in the Full Moon fight. Yes, all the bosses are remixed, different. They have different attacks. They have different abilities, and I'm pretty sure the character's gonna get new abilities also on top of Shift. So be ready. It's gonna be different. It's gonna be a lot of the same, but it's gonna be very different at the same time. But yeah, that was the Charters demo. Not much more to that. There weren't really story parts. But yeah, if you do battle and you knock every enemy down, you do get all out attacks. And after you beat the enemy with an all attack, depending on who started the all attack, you get a little cut in, just like Persona 5. So it's got that Persona 5 quality life and coat of paint on it, which is really cool. I love it. In case you're curious, shuffle time's back, as you can see right there. But there is no actual game you play. You just choose the card you want, which is, I think if you could choose I think you can only choose if you've done an all-out attack and finished the enemy that way. I don't think it popped up if you didn't. I could be wrong on that, but it's all really smooth, really cool. Everyone's really gonna enjoy it. It's got a lot of similarities, but feeling very different at the same time. And I'm kind of curious how they're gonna add new abilities in there. I think there's gonna be new abilities because I can't see them not adding new abilities. But I think it's also gonna be a little different because, if you never played Persona 3 before, there's no social links with any of the male characters in the game. Male party members in the game, I should say. So no Junpei, no Akihiko, nothing like that. Only the ladies. So I'm curious how they would get new abilities, because it might be linked to the full Arcana, but the full Arcana also leveled up during the cutscene after the full moon thing, and nothing was activated. So that also may have been a demo thing. So I don't know, but we'll see how that happens when the actual game comes out, which comes out February 2nd, by the way. We were told that. So be ready. There's also probably, I think, a pre-order for the game starting today as you're watching this. But like I said, I'm recording this as close to I can because I'm about to go on vacation. So I want to get this done. But yeah, that was the New Moon demo part. I don't think I missed anything important from the Tartarus part. So moving on to the Full Moon part. The Full Moon part obviously is the first Full Moon operation of the game. That is the monorail. And this was pretty much more story focused than it was action focused, obviously. And I can tell you right now, dialogue wise and cutscene wise, this was basically playing Persona 3 Face in the Unreal Engine. Nothing changed. The dialogue, I have a very clear memory of how the dialogue plays out, and it's pretty much exactly 1-to-1. And if you're curious, the new voices for the new cast are amazing. They were jarring at first. I'm not used to them. But after hearing them for a while, they're very good at their job, obviously. Amazing. And after a while, it just kind of felt like hearing Yukari and Junpei and Mitsuru and a little bit of Akihiko. We also heard um, Ikutsuki's new voice actor too. It felt very natural and just didn't even notice me. No, bugged me toward the end. So it was like, that's a good sign. I think people are going to adjust real quick to the new voices. I think they did an excellent job. But the full moon part was basically you start right outside the monorail. You watch the cutscenes as he goes in. You know the deal. If you play Persona 3, Junpei runs away. You got to go chase him with Yukari and main character who's named Yuki in this demo. And you go through the monorail and you go to the car to car. But it's a little different because the timer doesn't start in the middle of the cars like it does during the other parts, the other versions of the game. It actually starts at the boss, which is a little different. You'd think, hey, we don't get. It's a little easier that way because you actually you get 30 minutes for the boss, as you can see in those screenshots. But I'm gonna explain that in a second. But as you go through, you catch up to Junpei, and then you face the boss, and it is the Priestess Arcana. Same, basically, the Priestess Arcana in Unreal. She does do things differently. The boss starts, the timer starts at 30 minutes, which is way more time than the original face version. The original face version, I believe, is 8 minutes. I could be wrong on that. And you think, oh, well, it's probably going to be a lot easier. It's not, because halfway through the fight, as you start doing damage to the enemy, she does a move called Chaotic Will. Now, I'm not 100% sure it's called Chaotic Will. I know it's Chaotic something, but it's that move you see in the screenshot where she shoots her ribbons, and it doesn't do damage, but it speeds the timer up. It goes from 30 minutes to 15 minutes, and then from 15 minutes, I believe, to 3 minutes. So you actually have less time to beat the boss than you normally would if you've been taking your time. And she has the same weaknesses. She doesn't have any weaknesses, obviously. She's resistant to ice and then resistant to everything else. So you really can't knock her down. But she does summon the ads like she normally does. But she summons a little more ads than usually. She should only summon the tiaras, but she summons the Mayas now too. So you have to actually use the shift command to actually knock everything down so you can get free attacks at her. Because if you don't kill her fast enough, obviously you need to focus on her. The timer does tick pretty fast. And basically, she doesn't also have Mabufu. She has her own unique spell. You can kind of see in one of the screenshots. It's that cold breath attack. I don't remember what it's actually called, but it does do AoE ice damage. It's just not Mabufu. So another change you can notice to the bosses, which means pretty much every boss in this game is going to be much different than they were in previous versions, which is cool because if you're an expert at this game, I played this game a shit ton, and I can tell you right now, those bosses are going to be pretty much different than any other bosses that you fought in the original versions, whether it be the original version, face, or portable. But yeah. After you beat the boss, you have a little choice. You can freak out Junpei. You still have that choice. And then you get to see the cutscene with Akihiko and Ikutsuki. So that's all there. And the full Arcana rank's up there too. So all that's in there. It's pretty much 1-to-1. Story beats. And that was Persona 3 demo. It was great. Super looking forward to it. Super looking forward to the rest of it. But yeah, moving on to Persona 5 Tactica, because I'm going to keep both games together. I don't want to do 2 videos. Persona 5 Tactica was also really cool. I'm a big fan of, obviously, Persona games. And I'm obviously a big fan of any kind of tactic game. And I love Final Fantasy Tactics. I love Tactics Ogre. But I'm going to tell you right now, this game doesn't play like those. It plays more like Mario vs. Rabbids, which I think a lot of people could have picked up on from the art style and the videos they've shown off so far. But that's not a bad thing, actually. That's a really good thing. It's kind of a little mixed. It still has a grid system, as you can see. So you still have to pay attention to what you're doing. But we didn't get a lot of time with the Persona 5 Tactica demo. And also, we weren't allowed to watch a lot of the cutscenes. I think because they were saving a lot of that for spoilers. And honestly, I don't want to spoil anybody either. So, but I will go over what I'd learned, what I saw. The game starts, and, you know, the gang gets sucked back into the metaverse. And this time, the metaverse is a Victorian era style thing, complete with evil Maria Antoinette She has these little musket shadows that attack, and then you get thrown into the tutorial fight. Tutorial, basically, the gameplay is like this. It's a cover-based game, like XCOM, like Mario vs. Rabbids, if you never played it. You want to be behind cover, because if you're not behind cover, you can get hit. If you are behind cover completely, you will not get hit. It was automatic block. And the way it works is, if you're behind cover, they're behind cover, you're not going to hit each other. But your objective is basically to use your persona abilities and your melee abilities by sneaking around and knock them out of cover so that you can shoot them or knock them down and do damage to them. Gameplay is very simple. If there's a red line, you can shoot them with a gun. If there's a black line, you can't hit them as a block. So you need to think about, that means they're fully behind cover. You need to actually go over there and either melee them to push them around, or like I said, use your persona to knock them out. In this tutorial fight, you get Ryuji, Morgana, and Joker to mess around with everybody. And it basically works like this. You knock the enemy down. If they're out of cover, like you blow them out of cover, you can knock them down, and then you get to go again. You get to attack again with that character. That character gets a second turn. So you can do that for all the enemies. And then if you're curious, there's no all-out attacks. In fact, there isn't, because there's a new mechanic called the triple threat triangle attack, if I believe it's called, the TTT. And the way it works is, after you've knocked the enemy down, if you position your character to make a triangle formation with the other two characters that are in your party, you can then activate the triangle attack, which is the all-out attack. That's the all-out attack. That's when the enemy, you can do damage to all of them. You only need to knock down one enemy to start the triangle attack. So if you knock one enemy down, and then on your second turn, since you have a second turn, since you knocked them down, and you move into position, you can then start the triangle attack, which is really cool, on all the enemies, regardless of whether they're knocked down or not. If you knock all of them down and then do the triangle attack, you get even more damage, obviously, because they're already knocked down. But that's how that works. There's also another mechanic called charge. If you choose not to do anything for a whole turn, you can then get a special ability unique to that character. And Aina, which is the new character, I believe her name's Aina. It should be Aina. I don't know how she actually joins the party, because we weren't allowed to watch that cutscene. But I can say that her ability, because that's the tutorial lets you use. And there was a second tutorial. This is a second tutorial we got to play after the original tutorial. Her ability lets you shoot enemies behind cover. Behind cover, regardless of whether or not... Sorry, it's not Aina, it's Arenia. My bad. Look at my notes right now. My fault. Lets her shoot enemies behind cover no matter what. So even if they're fully blocked, her special ability does that. You don't get to check Joker's or Morgana, their special ability, but they do have talent trees for these two. So every character has a talent tree, and you could probably adjust the character special charge moves, make them stronger, different, probably power up triangle attacks, make their personas better. There's a lot to this. There's also objectives you get for each level. So there's a lot of replayability. There's also a difficulty level. We were allowed to pick our difficulty level. I chose Merciless because I'm crazy, although we actually only got to choose it for one battle. It's the tutorial battle. It wasn't all that hard. But yeah, you get to... So there's a lot of replayability here. You can go for the challenges. The challenges basically amount to finishing the map in a certain amount of turns, not taking damage, etc. Making sure your characters don't get knocked down. Things like that. I think they've pretty much changed depending on the map, depending on obviously the situation you're in. But that's as much as we got to play as Persona 5 Tactica. What I played was really fun, though. I'm a huge Tactics fan, like I said, and that was one of those games that they announced, and I was like, well, okay, all right. I know a lot of people are sick and tired of Persona 5. I'm not, because it's still Persona. I also really like the cast still. I know people are turned off by the graphics of Persona 5 Tactica. I can tell you right now, in actual gameplay, much different. Way different than actual what you see in screenshots or video. I know I'm talking as we're doing a video with screenshots, but in actual animation, it looked great. Very cartoon, very colorful. A departure from it. But I know, honestly, I thought it looked cool, and it's animated really well, especially the battle animations are animated really well. And I think that's kind of a good thing for it because I think a lot of people are sick of Persona 5. We had Persona 5, Persona 5 Royale, Persona 5 Strikers, um, and then we're going to Persona 5 X if that ever comes to the West. But then, yeah. So then now we have Persona 5 Tactica. But I think a change of art style helps out a lot. In case you're curious about the story, I can't really go into story details. But I can tell you that it takes place sometime in the winter after the end of Persona 5. But before the actual credits of Persona 5 roll. I think from the dialogue that we saw at the very start, but that's pretty much it. But yeah. Super fun. I wish I got to play more time with Persona 5 Tactica. They just wouldn't let us play all that much of it. Unlike the Persona 3 Reload and the Like a Dragon Gaiden demo that we got to play. But you know what? What I played was enough because that game's coming out in November. It'll get here soon, and we're definitely gonna be playing that one. So yeah. Anyway, that's all I got. I probably rambled on enough, but I hope you got some of this information, and it's kind of quelled some fears or made you really hyped for Persona 3 Reload, because I'm super hyped for Persona 3 Reload. And if you have any questions for me, I am on vacation, but I'll be back probably Friday, and we'll be streaming. And I'll share any information I can over the weekend for anyone that actually wants to know more. If you want, like maybe I missed something in this video, I probably did. Like I said, I'm doing this kind of off the cuff as fast as I can, so that I can go pack and then enjoy my vacation. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me tonight. If you want to check out any of this stuff in written form, you can check it out on the website itself. Also, I have a write-up about Like a Dragon Gaiden, the band who erased his name, which is also super fun, a really cool game. I'm looking forward to that too. But maybe I'll do another video for that because I actually have B-roll of that. So if we hit it up and do some voice work for that, then we can get that out too. But I'll see what I can do for that. But yeah, check us out, RPGFan.com. You know, do all the social stuff. Give us a follow. Hit that like button. If you like this video, if you like this off the cuff stuff, I can do more of it. I hope I didn't ramble. Hope I didn't say I know a whole bunch of times, but I probably did. And well, check us out on Twitch. You can check me out on our RPG Fan Twitch channel all the time. Pretty much at least Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday most times. Sometimes we stream Wednesday and Tuesday too. Yeah, we're gonna be playing these games when they come out. I guarantee it. Until then, I hope you have a great night and a great week, and I'll see you guys soon. Have a great one, everyone. Peace out.